Hi, my name is Kevin, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience going into the gay world after leaving high control religion. And in honor of that, I'm wearing my Mean Girls shirt. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. So let's get started. So I grew up in a very high control religion. I grew up in very deep in evangelical Christianity. So growing up, most mentions of sex were inappropriate or were evil. Definitely any kind of sexual expression outside of marriage was wrong and was wicked. And I grew up in purity culture. I definitely grew up in purity culture, and it was very interesting, very shocking to be confronted with the gay scene after leaving Christianity, after leaving evangelical Christianity. And I can talk about a whole lot of things, but I think I'm just going to narrow it down to how I've navigated my own values and my own identity and my own preferences and desires, leaving Christianity and just finding out what my own morality is, what my own values are, and living in that in a space where other people don't necessarily share that, and that's okay. I remember when I first went to a gay club, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. There's a lot going on right now. Given I have never seen or rarely ever seen two people of the same gender making out right in front of me. Just like going at it. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. There were people kissing and there were people dancing, there were go-go dancers, there was all kinds of people, and it was honestly at first I was pretty overwhelmed. I was like, this is a lot. I don't know how I feel about this. This is very different. But naturally, I'm the kind of person that I like to have fun. I don't know, I like to dance and I like to just be in fun environments. Even if I'm not doing what other people are doing, I just enjoy being around people. So I would go to these gay clubs and I would dance with my friends and I would have a good time actually. At first I was like, I don't want to go so often, blah blah blah, because the people that I was surrounded with would go fairly often, and there came a point where I was a little exhausted and I was like, I don't want this to be something that I do all the time. And eventually I was able to find the balance of how often I wanted to go out and stuff like that. And so it was definitely very, very interesting experience seeing people again. Had never been exposed to people just making out right in front of me who just met each other. And I know this isn't just exclusive to gay bars or the gay scene. This is just my experience going into it, going into the specific club that I went to, going into just everything is about me. I don't want to generalize anything. And the more that I got into the gay culture, I realized at least the gay spaces that I was in seemed to emphasize a lot of sexual behavior, seemed to emphasize a lot of alcohol, substance use, and that was not necessarily something that I was into or the way that I would prefer to engage in certain behaviors or in certain activities. And so that was a bit of a culture shock, especially because I felt like, okay, I'm gay. I need to like these things. I need to get involved in all these things. I need to, I don't want to say prove my queerness, but in a way, prove my queerness. And I went through a period of trial and error where I was like, okay, I'm going to explore some things. I'm going to figure out what I like, what I don't like, what I prefer, what I don't prefer. And that's a whole other story regarding the shame that comes from being raised in purity culture and how that stays with you. But I gave myself the permission to explore and to realize, okay, I'm not doing anything wrong. I am just exploring. And I think it was a very important and necessary period of my life. And I think it brought me to the place where I am at now, where I feel more mature, where I feel more confident in my own values, where I feel more confident in my own decisions, in my own preferences. And so, as I said at the beginning, I thought I had to live up to this certain standard, or that the reason why I was maybe more apprehensive to hook up with someone that I just met, or why I was why I didn't want to necessarily do these things, why I didn't really want to use drugs, why I didn't want to drink all the time. These things, I was very self-conscious. I was like, why am I like this? Is this because I grew up in purity culture? Is this because of X, Y, and Z reason? Is there something wrong with me? Is there something that I need to change? Right. And again, as I said, I engaged in some of these activities. I learned how to actually listen to my body and figure out what I felt comfortable with and what I didn't feel comfortable with. And I realized it's just, there are certain things within the gay scene and within any scene, but specifically the gay scene that I was in, that I just didn't necessarily enjoy, and that didn't reflect my own values and my own morality, and didn't reflect my own desires for my life and for the people that I wanted to be surrounded by. And I had to make decisions to make sure that I lived a life and that I engaged in behaviors that were in alignment with my values, that were in alignment with my goals, not in the sense of, okay, this is wrong and this is right, or this is evil and this is good, but more so, this is just not where my values lie and this is not what I want to do. And I feel that's something that isn't really talked about that often in gay circles. I think there is an expectation to behave in certain ways or engage in certain activities. And again, no judgment if that's what people choose to do. I think people should be able to choose how to live, express their own sexuality, how to make informed decisions, and not be judged by the conclusions that they come to. And similarly, I realized that I was judging myself for the conclusions that I came to. And I realized that maybe some of my values, maybe the ways that I see the world, have been influenced by my upbringing as a Christian, or has been influenced by my upbringing as a Latino man, and Latino culture. And I realized that there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. I say necessarily because I want to be careful with my words, because if I was not engaging in certain behaviors or certain activities because of a sense of shame, or because of a sense that I felt they were wrong, then I could say that it might be some aspects of purity culture that I had to heal from. But I realized that it wasn't because I felt shameful, or it wasn't because I felt condemned for doing these things or engaging in these activities, or some kind of internalized phobia or whatever. I try to do the self-inspection, do the work with in therapy with my friends. I try to be as honest as I could with myself. And I realized some people have different values, and that's okay. Just because I don't necessarily enjoy having sex with someone who I don't know, or because I choose to not use certain substances or limit the amount of substances that I use, doesn't make me a better or a worse person. It's just reflective of my own values. And I am intentional about seeking out people who reflect those values, and also people who don't reflect those values. And we're still friends. And I'm like, hey, go do your thing. I'm going to do my thing. If that's what you want to do, if that's an informed decision that you want to make, if you feel confident, if you're doing it in a safe manner, then I mean, all the power to you. I just know that's not what I want to do. And it took me a while to realize that that was okay. And it took me, and something that I still get insecure about. I'm not going to lie and be like, oh, wait, I'm super confident. No, I still get insecure about it, but I have learned how to trust myself, how to trust my own thoughts and my own experiences and my own values. And I think I've spent way too much of my life conforming to what other people want me to be, that I haven't really given myself the permission to figure out who I am and where my values actually lie and what makes me me. And I think there was a period where that was necessary. Again, trial and error. And I learned, and I made mistakes, and I did things that I'm like, crap, I should not have done that. But I learned, and that's okay. And that's something that before, as a Christian, I would have felt so much shame about, and I would have had to go and repent and ask for forgiveness. But now I'm like, this is part of life. This is part of exploring. This is part of growing up. And I'm so happy for just the decisions that I made. I think overall, even what I call mistakes are not really that deep, you know? And they have made me into the person that I am today. So I'm grateful for that. So I just want you to know that if you are new to the gay scene, I just want you to know that you shouldn't feel pressured to do anything that you don't want to do, to be someone that you don't want to be. You take things at your own pace. You shouldn't ever feel coerced or feel like you have to prove your queerness. or hang out around people who make you feel uncomfortable or who don't align with your values. You can choose who you want to hang out with. You can choose who you want to be. And if there's people who disrespect that or make you feel like you're wrong for that, those might not be people that should be in your life. So I just want you to know you don't have to engage in hookup culture to be queer. You don't have to download certain apps to be queer. You don't have to fit any stereotype to be queer or to be gay. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong if you do that. I'm just saying that it's not a prerequisite for being gay. And I just hope that if there's someone else like me who feels like they don't necessarily fit into this culture or some voices that seem to be the loudest within this culture, I just want you to know that there's still a space for you in the community. There's still a space for you. And I just hope to be able to create those spaces for people who might be different or express their values or express their sexuality in different ways, and know that you are welcome and that you are not alone. And again, I just want to emphasize, because I want to make this really clear. I'm not saying anything is wrong. I'm not saying anything is right. This is simply a matter of what your values are, what you want your life to look like, and having the autonomy to do that without feeling pressured or without feeling condemned for doing that. Anyway, that is all that I had for today. So thank you for watching. It's not Wednesday right now, but I am still wearing pink because I love pink. Anyway, I will see you next time. Bye.